Competition. Are your online competitors the same as your brick and mortar competitors? What's the difference, and how do you figure out who and where you should be targeting? Let's go. So, you know from your monthly OEM reports what your market share is and who your competitors are, right? But that doesn't really encompass everything. In fact, in the past 5 years, our online competitors have grown exponentially. We've got things like Cars.com, we've got things like Vroom, Carvana. These are all competing for those sales directly. That's your bottom line, and they're not covered by that report that you get from the factory. So how do we know whether they're stealing your lunch out of the fridge in the office? So we've got your neighbors, the people who you can drive around town and physically look at their buildings. And then we have the online actors that, well, you can't find them anywhere until you make a Google search. So how do you figure out who's doing what, where, when, and how? Whew. That's a big question, right? Well, answer number one, make some Google searches. If you look up some terms that are important to your business, chances are you'll find the other people trying to show up for that same thing. And that'll give you a good idea of who's putting forth the effort to show up. If they're not making the effort to appear in those important search queries, chances are they're not the ones who are stealing your lunch out of the refrigerator. And the question is, what do you then do about it? Well, look at how they're ranking. If they've got content that's doing particularly well, write it better, right? I can do anything you can do better. Take that piece of content, write it longer, write more details, answer more queries, figure out what's important to the consumer, and address those concerns more directly than the competitor does. That's really the only way that you can take these guys head on, because if you think that you can outspend Carvana, well, you've probably got another thing coming, and you're going to end up wasting a lot of money trying to go after them in a way that you really just can't. And that's why SEO is the answer in a lot of these instances. So let's recap. Your competition has expanded beyond local competitors to include major online disruptors who may not be reflected in the reporting you receive. That said, a simple Google search can determine who you're competing against to rank for the keywords that are important to you. If someone is outperforming you, use their content as benchmark by which you improve upon your own, making your answers more authoritative and giving them a better shot at being viewed by Google as the definitive answer. Question answered. Are there any questions we can answer for you? Leave them in the comments below. And if you want more ways to set your dealership up for success, connect with Wikimotive on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube for more ways to optimize your dealership's online presence and sell more cars.